a controversy over GMO guidelines for parents. Today, we're diving into a hot topic involving new health guidelines from the American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, about genetically modified foods. These guidelines have caused quite a stir, especially among parents who want to make the best choices for their kids. Let's break it down in simple terms. Earlier this year, the AAP advised parents to limit foods containing genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, in our. Now, GMOs are crops that have had their genes altered in a lab to make them stronger. For example, they might be changed to resist pests or tolerate harsh conditions, which helps farmers grow more food. While it sounds high-tech, many scientists say GMOs are safe to eat, and they're actually found in many everyday foods. However, the AAP raised concerns about potential health risks, especially for children. They also flagged glyphosate, which is a chemical used to kill weeds. Glyphosate is often sprayed on GMO crops like corn and soybeans because these plants have been modified to survive the chemical, while it kills the weeds around them. The AAP suggested that glyphosate might be harmful, particularly to children, and urged parents to consider organic foods, which are grown without GMOs or synthetic pesticides. But here's where things get complicated. Some experts argue that the AAP's warning could make parents overly fearful of GMOs and glyphosate without solid evidence. They worry this might push parents to buy only organic food, which can be more expensive. Organic food, by definition, is grown without synthetic chemicals or GMOs, but it's not always affordable for everyone. Dr. Nicole Keller, a pediatrician and a mother of 3, was especially surprised by the AAP's advice. She and her husband grow both GMO and non-GMO crops, and she says the science doesn't back up the AAP's concerns. Keller and 2 other pediatricians tried to get their critique of the guidelines published, but it was rejected. So they turned to social media and blogs to get their message out. Keller believes these guidelines could cause confusion, especially among low-income families who might think they have to buy only expensive organic foods to keep their kids safe. Timothy Caulfield, an expert in science communication, weighed in, saying the guidelines make GMOs seem bad and organic foods seem good, but that's not what the research shows. The bigger issue, he says, is making sure kids eat more fruits and vegetables, regardless of whether they're organic or conventionally grown. That's what truly matters for their health. Let's talk more about glyphosate, the weed killer that's at the center of this debate. Glyphosate is sold under the brand name Roundup and is used on a lot of GMO crops in the US. These crops are designed to survive glyphosate, which allows farmers to kill weeds without harming their plants. As a result, traces of glyphosate can be found in some processed foods like cereals, snacks, and even ketchup. The AAP raised concerns about a 2015 report from the World Health Organization, WHO, that suggested glyphosate probably causes cancer in humans. But there's a lot of debate over this. US agencies like the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, have studied glyphosate extensively and found no strong evidence that it harms people at the levels found in our food. Dr. Stephen Abrams, one of the authors of the AAP report, defended the guidelines by pointing out newer studies that suggest potential risks, like possible effects on brain development in babies who were exposed to glyphosate before they were born. But again, other researchers argue that the evidence is far from clear, and agencies like the EPA haven't found glyphosate to cause major health issues, including cancer. So, why is there so much focus on being cautious about GMOs and glyphosate? Some experts, like Bill Fries from the Center for Food Safety, say it's because kids are more sensitive to chemicals than adults. Their smaller bodies are still growing, and they might react differently to chemicals like glyphosate. Fries believes the AAP was right to be careful and to suggest that families eat fewer processed foods and more whole, unprocessed foods, like fresh fruits and vegetables. However, other pediatricians, like Dr. Nimali Fernando, feel the guidelines might create unnecessary fear. Dr. Fernando, who runs a non-profit that helps low-income families with nutrition, points out that we still don't know for sure if the small amounts of glyphosate in food are dangerous. And for families on a budget, the guidelines might make them feel like they have to buy pricey organic foods to be safe. This can add unnecessary stress and lead to fewer healthy food choices. One parent, Katie Masteler, from Virginia, shared her concerns about the AAP's guidelines. As a busy mum of 3, she often turns to the AAP for advice on important health decisions, like whether to get her kids vaccinated. But after reading their recommendations on GMOs and glyphosate, she was left feeling anxious. Katie said the guidelines didn't provide enough helpful context to explain why parents should worry or what they should do if they can't afford organic food. This debate highlights the tricky balance between offering precautionary advice and causing unnecessary fear. For many families, worrying about GMOs and glyphosate could take the focus off what's most important: getting enough nutritious food, whether it's organic or not. So, what's the takeaway? Experts agree that the most important thing is making sure kids eat plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Whether those foods are organic or conventional is less important than making sure they're healthy and accessible. That's it for today's topic. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on health and science topics. Thanks for watching.